And if you just joined us, it's still Journalist Hangout on TVC. I'm still with BKO and Chris Kendo. My name is Benga. So let's go to our next story. In the exercise of their rights, citizens must be wary of the point at which not to cross the line. The mass trial of the End Bad Governance protesters has commenced in Abuja, Kano, Kaduna and Borno courts. Now, those detained over the protest in Abuja were tried in Justice Emeka Nwite's court, while human rights lawyer Femi Falana, SAN, led a team of lawyers to defend the protesters. Now, Amnesty International said out of the 2,111 suspects arrested across the country, 1,403 have been arraigned in various courts. Now, you'll recall that Justice Nwite of the Federal High Court in Abuja granted the request by the police to remand 124 protesters in custody for 60 days pending conclusion of the investigation. Now, because there's been insinuations suggesting that the trial of the August protesters goes against the right to peaceful assembly, which is enshrined in talk about Section 40 of the 1999 Constitution. Do you agree or do you disagree with this?
I have spoken a number of times about the August protests, because that's the way I like to describe it.
Exactly.
I think one TV station actually couched it that way. Instead
of a nationwide?
Yes, instead of calling it a nationwide. A protest in which more than a quarter of the states in our country didn't get involved. I cannot call it a nationwide protest.
Good.
So I would like to call it the August protest or cost of living protest, because that's the way, that's what it was meant to address. Now, people have the right to protest. Let's be clear about that. But there are limitations to the exercise of your rights to protest.
Section 45.
Those limitations are listed, even in subsequent sections. If in the exercise of your right to protest, you infringe on the rights of other people to movement across the country, you have contravened the law. And that is why in the UK, those who blocked roads in the name of protest, they were apprehended and jailed. It is not only in our country that protesters are arrested and put on trial. In the UK, this last protest, in communities, cities like Liverpool, protesters went on looting spree, and they were arrested. Just if you just Google it, you see multiple arrests made in the UK in the course of protests. Some were breaking into shops.
Yes,
it's not only in Nigeria that people protest and break into shops. But as we have seen with our own case, people have been arrested. Look at the case of more than 100 trucks of fertilizer looted in Jigawa State alone.
Yes.
Do you know what that can do? More than 100 trucks. I'm not saying 100 bags, so trucks. Which means these things were carefully coordinated.
Now, that's not protest, it's robbery.
It's not, for me, what happened in Kano, Gombe, Katsina, all of those places, you can't call them protest. Because protests shouldn't be what people do and just grab the opportunity to steal. In Kano, they even looted a mosque, carted away the rug. So are you going to say that such people step out of line, do not deserve to be arrested? And if you look, how many people, for example, were arrested in Lagos? Because the protest went on in Lagos peacefully. People want to occupy the streets, occupy the roads, block vehicles from moving. That is not a protest. That road that you blocked could be the opportunity to save a life
infringing
being taken away. Yes. Somebody may be in a vegetative state or in a life-threatening situation. They are taking that person to the hospital. You block the road. Of course, you deserve to be arrested. And we saw what had never happened in our country before. People are protesting and they are carrying the flag of Russia. What is the meaning of that? Some people have come to deceive themselves that, oh, it's the flag of the Nigerian force. It's absolute false.
Yes, I heard comments like that.
It is the flag of Russia. They even granted interview. I granted some of our people do not understand Hausa. They granted interview. They were hailing Russia and telling Russia to come and intervene in our matter. Do you know that some people were already going into army barracks trying to recruit people? Because every time they saw soldiers, they tell them, oh, Kumuke, so it is you that we want in power. They made no pretense about that. They wanted regime change. And they wanted military rule because they can see that their cousins in Niger Republic, in Burkina Faso, you know, in Mali, Guinea, the military are taking over in such countries. So they were hoping that it could happen here. So carrying the Russian flag, they knew what they were doing.
It's a signal.
They knew what they were doing. It's not Nigerian flag. It's not the flag of the Nigerian forces. It's Russian flag. They granted interviews. They explained why they were carrying the flag. So a good number of those people carrying the Russian flag were arrested. They are being put on trial. Some of the people behind this, some of the people who gathered money using a crypto currency to mobilize people for this kind of protest. Government has been going after them. They've some of their accounts have been frozen. You can imagine an individual account having as much as 35 billion, an individual's account.
Oh dear.
How do you explain that?
Oh dear. Now, Siki, let me come to you. There's been all sort of reactions, okay, comments here and there. Amnesty International has come out to say that these people are demanding for the unconditional release of these protesters, saying that the government should not even arrest them, but instead the government should address the reason for the protest. What do you have to say to what Amnesty International in Nigeria is saying?
First and foremost, to be able to distinguish between looters and protesters. That is very key, number one. Two is the fact that everybody arrested is assumed to be innocent until a competent court of law decides otherwise. So everybody that's been arrested and being charged to court today and will also be charged to court are seen as suspects, as it were. So we have to clarify that very, very well. I also want the police to go further to be able to investigate properly and make sure that innocent people do not get themselves, don't get themselves involved and sentenced. That is where the police has to be very, very thorough. But as BKO said, most of what happened in some parts, especially in the north, was actual looting, not protest.
Not protest.
When you see a situation where they move into NCC facility, a new facility that was equipped with computers and the rest of them that was to be commissioned, the next day. They did not only cut away the computer, even the doors, even the chair and rocks were all cutted away. So now today,
it's not protest.
Yes, so that is no longer a protest. That is looting. That is robbery. But today, the Nigerian police came out today to declare even a wanted.
Wanted, yes.
Yes. I think he was the guy that the police went to the NLC building that we are talking about. Today, they finally came out with his name, with picture, with one other Nigerian, and has been, so you understand? So, but it's good that they're having their days in court because people are already complaining, just like Amnesty and the rest of them. Because when you arrest an individual in Nigeria, you have between 24 hours and 48 hours to be able to charge him to court, except a court, competent court, gives otherwise. And I know that there is a court, a judge, that said that they can be held for 60 days. That to me was the extreme for me. In as much as the security agencies have a right to be able to investigate, But it's good enough that the government have come out and the police have come out. They must have concluded their investigation, and these guys have been taken to court.
How do we avoid a repeat of this?
Well, there are two things. One, to make sure that the genuine, and that's why I say let us distinguish between looters and protesters. Most of those issues that were raised by the demands, government should look at. Let us not just sweep it apart and just look at it as nothing happened.
You don't see those demands as too bogus or things that the government can actually do?
No. You look at some of them are bogus and some of them doesn't make sense. But the fact is that there are some of them, especially the one that has to do with food.
Okay.
Nigeria is not having the best or not be able to afford food and the likes. No, everybody knows that is a fact. The level of yes, everybody is feeling it. Even we that are at our small level, you can imagine how much what people send to you on a daily basis. Buy me 500 in May. Buy me 1,000. In fact, at times that you see some code, you can't even pick it again.
Yes,
this is true.
You will even be scared.
I say you'll be scared. It's true. Some people just send me message now that it got to a point that I get so scared that I put my phone on silence now, because when you tell people that you don't have, they'll be looking at it, because it is safety you are suffering is what I'm suffering, for goodness sake. But they don't believe.
You think you are
because you are. Some people see you. Oh, you're on television. They say you're a millionaire.
No, I get scared when they say, "Benga, can we talk?
Can we talk? What about it? Can we talk? You know, there is problem." So those are genuine issues that I think that government should be able to address. But anybody trying to use that to foment trouble or for whatever other is, then is no longer genuine, and such people have to be dealt with.
All right, BKO, 30 seconds.
Yes,
the August protest, a repeat of it, just in 30 seconds. Because
there will still be protests. People will protest because protests are necessary to get government to feel the pain that we are going through, because some of the people in government are disconnected. So we need protests. Protests sometimes bear good fruits.
Okay.
What we don't want is a situation in which people occupy the highways and say they are protesting the way they did during NSAS, and some people died in their cars. Sick people could not get to hospital. Perishable trailer load of perishable goods. You block the expressway. They could not go and discharge the content of those articulated vehicles. People lost money. People lost their lives. We don't want such protests.
Right.
You can still protest.
Okay.
And your message will be heard loud and clear without inconveniencing others. People. That is what the Constitution talks about. That, look, there are limitations to those rights. You have to be conscious. If I'm free to swing my arm like this, but if I swing it in a manner that breaks your nose, I'm already liable. Abi?
Okay.
I have no right to do that. So people must realize that every right that the Constitution gives you has limitations.
There's a limitation.
And when you step out of line, those rights can either be taken away. The government can take away the rights to free movement, for example, when they impose a curfew.
Okay.
You know, a curfew keeps everybody inside his house.
All right, thank you.
So